Hey friends! So I'm doing a video right now that I feel is very of the moment. Hopefully some of you might find it helpful. But unless you've been living under a rock, you know that the entire planet literally is dealing right now with COVID-19, which is a novel version of coronavirus. Coronavirus is the common cold. It exists all over the place. It has existed for ages, but like any other virus, it mutates. Different forms of it exist. This particular one we're dealing with is very easily spread, and it's made extra dangerous by the fact that you don't typically know you have it until about a week after you come in contact with it. At that point, you'll have spread it to other people, and most people will just get through it. But some people, like the immunocompromised, elderly folks, people with certain medical conditions, they're not going to be so lucky. In our household, we have the fortune and the luxury that everybody that works can work remotely. My brother is home with us now because his school shut down their campus, and so he's going to be finishing his master's degree remotely. So we can self-quarantine without too much disruption to our daily lives. I know that we are super lucky to be in that position because most people are not. All that being said, I wanted to show you guys the sorts of things that I stocked up on, because right now we are just self-quarantining, but the news is changing hour to hour, it feels like. And there's a possibility that we might be told to quarantine, or that companies like supermarkets are going to be expected to close down. Now, the important thing here is not to freak out, not to panic, not to overbuy, but be honest with yourself and consider, if you could not leave your house for 2 weeks, 3 weeks, maybe even a month, what do you need to get by? I'm looking at you, Karen, with the 14 packs of toilet paper. Who craps that much at your house? You might need medical attention for something else altogether if you need that much toilet paper. Plus, toilet paper is not going to keep you from catching this. I honestly don't get the furia with toilet paper. Why? Even water. I get water. If you live somewhere where you can't drink from the tap, then obviously that's very important. Go ahead and stock up on water. But otherwise, this is not a hurricane, guys. Water is not going to be disrupted. Electricity is not going to be disrupted. That's a whole other animal. This is just, you're chilling at home for a month. If you look at it that way, doesn't that change the whole perspective on the things you might want to buy? So yeah. Anyways, I'm going to show you guys some of the stuff I have. Things to keep in mind, and I feel like I've talked about this a lot in the last few days because of everything that's come up, but I do have generalized anxiety disorder. I was diagnosed with it over half my life ago at this point, which is bizarre to think about. But as such, this panic and this fury that you're feeling right now, I feel it all the time. 24/7 in fact, even when I sleep. So I like to always be prepared for worst case scenario. I'm not a prepper per se. I don't have a cellar where I keep weapons and like things like that. I honestly maybe would if I could, but I don't have the headspace for all that. And Florida doesn't do well with underground things, flooding and all that. But I do like to have a stock of food for at least a couple weeks that is always sitting there just in case, because you never know. Things like job loss, income loss of any sort, things like hurricanes. I like to know that my stuff's already there so I don't have to battle all of you people at the stores whenever a storm comes up. Things like that. So with the things I already had, I just kind of wanted to supplement with things that I typically would buy at the grocery store anyways, but let's assume grocery stores aren't a thing for the next month. And also I bought some extra things that are not keto, which if you're new here, I've been on dairy-free keto for almost 2.5 years now, and I'm pretty strict with it. But if push comes to shove and we're running out of food, keto be damned. So this is all stuff that I have for my family. Also, we have a deep freezer, like a chest freezer, and we have 3 refrigerator freezer combos. 3. One of them is stocked to the gills, the other 2 not so much. But we have plenty of meats to get us through the next little bit. This is stuff to supplement in case we happen to get through it, because there are 6 of us living here right now. So that is a possibility even with all that stuff in the deep freeze. So let's get into it. I'm not going to show you this in any particular order. I'm just going to pull it out of the boxes and the bags and see what I've got. Okay, so first off, let me show you what's in this big old box so that I could get it out of the way. I have tea. Lots and lots of tea. This is my favorite tea. I've got 6 boxes of Earl Grey and 6 boxes of decaf Earl Grey. And the thing about this is, like I said, don't overbuy. Don't freak out and buy things that you typically wouldn't even use anyways. I buy this tea in this quantity every time I'm running low. I happen to be running low now. I'm on my last box of each, because what I do is that every day, sometimes twice a day, I take a bag of the regular and a bag of the decaf, and that's how I make my mug of tea. I'm not a big coffee drinker. I'm a tea person. So this is not any more than I would typically buy. It just so happens that I'm running out, and so I'm buying it now so that later on I don't run out. So it's just a matter of keeping my creature comforts, really. And then I've also got here a big old thing of vitamins for my husband. These are the vitamins that he takes. It's like a gummy vitamin, but I really like the ingredients in this because the folate, for example, the B12, it's all natural versions. It's not synthetic ones that are harder to assimilate in the body. It took a really long time to find a vitamin for any of us that I was comfortable with the ingredients, and this is one of those vitamins. So I just bought him a little more because, again, he was running low. And then I got myself these because they were on sale. These are, just for reference, it's 4 gummies per serving, so this is a month's worth. And again, same clean ingredients. It's 9 carbs for the 4 gummies. So I can make this fit my macros. Typically, if you're doing strict keto, you wouldn't have something like this because it has sugar in it. But my regular multivitamin, which is usually the Thorne Basic Prenatal, I take prenatal vitamins always because you never know. They're actually out on Amazon, and I don't know if it's that they stopped making it or if they're just not carrying it right now, if it's out of stock, and that's all. But they didn't have my vitamins, and again, I'm running out, so I went ahead and I bought this because they were each like $15, which is really, really cheap. So I got 2 months worth there. I went to Walgreens today because I had to pick up something in the photo department. So while I was there, I grabbed this giant bag of sugar-free cough drops. And I also got a tiny little thing of junior strength Advil chewables. My son is extremely unlikely to use this. Chewables are not his thing at all. But if push comes to shove and I have to treat a fever, which I think I might have done like twice in his entire life. Fevers serve a purpose. Fevers are there to eradicate the infection that is causing your symptoms. So unless the fever gets very, very high, or unless your child is like tumbadito. How do you say that in English? Like if the child's like fatigued or the child's not acting like themselves, then something is wrong. Treat the fever. If you treat the fever and it still doesn't go down, or your child is still like mopey, then you need medical attention. But just in case of emergencies, I thought it would be a good idea to have this. I'd rather have it and not need it than need it and not have it. That's my motto for life in general. Okay, we're getting into like the food now, but like I said, this is all out of order. I got most of this stuff from Amazon Fresh or Amazon Prime. Some of it I got at the grocery store. I don't care for going to the grocery store most of the time anyways, but especially not now where I'm told it's a madhouse. So coconut manna, great source of fat, 1 net carb per serving, 100 calories, 9 grams of fat. This is fantastic. This is going to be a good snack for me. And again, this is all stuff that we're going to eat anyways. If we don't eat it now, we'll eat it later. None of this is going to go to waste. None of it was bought just like in a frenzy. Everything here was very much thought out and calculated. Lara bars, quick energy snack. If we don't use it now, we'll use it for hurricane season. Will I be eating these? Only if push comes to shove, but once again, rather have them than not. Epic bars, these I'm likelier to eat. Either way, they're both very clean ingredients. Ooh, actually, these are 21 net carbs per serving. This is 19 net carbs per serving. So actually, these are better on the carb count, but they're both very clean brands. Quick protein, you know, and it's safe for my son to eat. That's the other thing that I should probably mention in case you're new here. I have a dairy allergy. My son has dairy, wheat, and soy allergies. And so everything I bought, even though my son is on the autism spectrum, he is nonverbal, he has a lot of sensory difficulties when it comes to food, and he has a very limited diet. I did buy things that, again, if push comes to shove and he gets through all of the bacon that he has in the fridge and in the deep freezer, and he gets through the giant box of chips that I bought him, etc., etc., he can eat these things. Will he want to necessarily? Maybe not, but they will exist for him. He can eat them. They are safe, and so that puts me at ease. I got a thing of Coracidin, whatever. Cold and flu medication. This is for people specifically that have high blood pressure, and my dad does, so I figured better safe than sorry. Big old thing of peanut butter, and I have typically almond butter as well. I have hazelnut butter. I'm big on nut butters in general. So this was something that was very cheap. Everybody in the house can eat it, and it's shelf stable, so it'll last us through this situation. It'll last us through hurricane season. This will not go to waste. Lentils, they're cheap, they keep. Are they keto? No. But again, if push comes to shove, I feel like if push comes to shove and I'd rather have it than not need it and need it and not have it, are going to be like just sprinkled throughout this video to the point of overwhelm. Gluten-free cereal for my son. More cough drops. This is my husband's version of a protein bar. Whatever. It's calories, not super nutritious, but he'll eat it, so. Robitussin, severe multi-symptom cough and flu, maximum strength. It has acetaminophen. If I'd known that, I wouldn't have bought it. I'll leave this for my parents. My son and I do not do acetaminophen ever. It drops your glutathione. Glutathione is your body's first protection to detox, so we avoid acetaminophen altogether. Advil is different. Advil is ibuprofen. We will use that, but only in absolute extreme circumstances. My son hasn't had ibuprofen since he was like a year and a half old. I take ibuprofen maybe like 3 times a year. If I have like an ear infection and I'm dying, or when I have kidney stones and I'm dying, that's what it takes for us to medicate around here. But yeah, I didn't realize this had acetaminophen. I would not have purchased it. This one is Robitussin Cough and Chest Congestion DM. This one does not have acetaminophen, so this one I will use if I have to. This is the thing that nobody is stocking up on, and I honestly don't understand. If you can't get to a store, you want to have food, you want to have water in case you can't access it typically unless you buy it, and you want to have medicine, because if you catch this thing, it's a cold. You have to be able to treat your cold. I have stuff in the fridge to make more bone broth, which, by the way, I have a recipe for my bone broth. It's super easy. The recipe is going to be posted right up here in case you guys haven't seen it. But that's the sort of thing that you should be focusing on, is stocking up on things that are going to keep you comfortable if you catch the thing and have to write it out, or that will keep you comfortable if you have to just stay home for extended periods of time so that you don't catch the thing. That's the bottom line here. Toilet paper is not going to do either of these things. I mean, have as much as you need, right? But why would you get more than that? Apple juices for my son. The R.W. Knudsen Organic Apple. More of the Coricidin. This is cough and cold. I think the other one, yeah, this is cough and cold. The other one's cold and flu. More cough drops. I went off on the cough drops, but we'll use them. That's fine. Vicks, because if you're Cuban and you don't have Vicks in your home, what are you doing? I was gonna say, my gosh, I bought another Robitussin, but this is for kids. This is children's Robitussin, cough and cold. Also no acetaminophen. Cool. I got a bunch of Diablito, but the only reason that I bought Diablito, deviled ham, whatever. I don't know what you, I was gonna say, I don't know what you Americans call it, but it's literally on the can. I got a bunch of Diablito because one of the things that I always have in stock in my emergency supply situation is a bag of pagarina. So this is very finely milled corn, so it's made into a flour, and this is what you use to make arepas. It's very cheap, it stretches very far. Arepas are super filling, and you just top them with this and it's delicious. No one saw that, right? I haven't had it in a really long time, but if push comes to shove, I always keep this on hand just in case. We also have a giant bag of rice in here. I guess I might as well take it out and show you guys, right? But you know what rice looks like. A big old bag of rice. A couple boxes of gluten-free pasta. Again, these are things that are cheap, they keep well, you can feed a bunch of people with them, and they're safe because all of these things are gluten-free, so my son can have them if he needs to. So the last bag I have here is chips for my husband, Flamin' Hot Kettle Cooked Chips. Okay, he's gonna need all the toilet paper. Another organic gluten-free cereal for my son. Lime and jalapeno chips. What was my husband thinking? This is all he's gonna eat is chips. I also got him Lunchables. He got Lunchables, chocolate covered granola bars, and chips. I don't know either. Almond flour crackers, again something that my son can eat if he needs to. And a bag of gluten-free oats. Oats are naturally gluten-free, but if they don't actually say gluten-free on them, they're very susceptible to cross-contamination because of the harvesting process, and we don't take any chances around here because allergies. So oats, any grain you get, rice, corn, oats, beans even, lentejas, lentils, whatever. I switch channels a lot, guys, sorry. All of those things are things that are going to be cheap, that are going to keep well, that are going to stretch. That's what you're looking for when you're trying to build up an emergency food supply. So this is all the dry stuff I got. I also have in the freezer and in the fridge loads and loads and loads of bacon, salami, pepperoni, hot dogs. These are the things that my son eats. These are the base of his diet, so it's very important to have them. I bought a big box, like a case basically, of his favorite potato chips and another one of his favorite cheese puffs. They're these vegan puffs that he really, really likes. They smell like feet, but whatever, he likes them, he eats them, so they're there. We've got frozen chicken, we've got frozen beef, we have stuff to make soups and bone broth. Honestly, we're good. We're used to preparing for hurricanes. When it comes to a hurricane, you can't have stuff that requires refrigeration or freezing. So I feel like the fact that those things are allowed in this scenario actually made it easier to stock up on stuff. But that's everything, guys. That's everything that I bought to get through our self-sequester, our self-quarantine, for at least the next couple of weeks, though I feel confident that even if we had to stay home for 4 whole weeks, we would probably be okay. Are you guys stocking up on things? Are you planning to stay home for an extended period of time? What are things looking like in your neck of the woods as far as this whole COVID-19 situation? And most importantly, how are you? Like, really, how are you? How are you feeling about all of this? This is definitely overwhelming. It could be scary, especially if you have someone in your family that's more medically fragile. I could see how this would be absolutely terrifying. So really, how are you? We've got to take this situation seriously, guys, but we shouldn't panic. We shouldn't freak out. We're gonna get through it. Just wash your damn hands. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you found it helpful. If nothing else, I hope you were at least entertained by it. If you liked it, I hope you'll please give it a big thumbs up. I'd also love it if you would subscribe and click that notification bell, because I post at least 3 times a week and I wouldn't want you to miss a minute. Thank you so much again for watching, and be safe. Bye!